have people that have taken over the things that I have done, but I sometimes they come to me and I can get it done when they're the ones supposed to be doing it. But we still have problems in the schools, you know, and where two people will have a fight and they'll expel the black kid. And they say, why did you fight? And he said, well, call me a bad name. And they said, well, the name don't hurt you. He said, but he hit me. He said, after you hit him. And then they would send him home and leave the white kid in school. And I think that's unfair. If it's an expelling person, expel both of them. It's just one thing, you know. And then you tell the children to tell the teacher when it happens. And they say they tell them and they don't do anything about it. They say, oh, words can't hurt you. But words can hurt, you know. And some of the kids are unhappy with that, you know. And
what other kinds of things would you like to see accomplished on that front?
Well, I'd like to have more black teachers, you know, like an example for them. We had one. Leslie Washington went with me. She's my goddaughter. And she went with me on this trip. Her mother was the first black teacher we had in this town. Yeah. And she taught. Leslie had teaching credentials, but she didn't enjoy teaching.
Right.
So she didn't teach.
Isaac, that's a really good point. Growing up in Reading, I don't recall ever seeing
a black
teacher. And maybe I'm missing someone, but I can't think of one.
Just one, Mrs. Hill. She was the only one.
And so what other things? It's like if you had a wish list, what else would you like to see done?
Well, Art Taylor, was over at the college, but that's a higher kids. That's not the small kids where their lives are patterned, you know, and there's a lot that could happen, you know. And I feel guilty saying this, but people treat me so special. I wish they would treat everybody similar to the way they treat me. You know, everybody knows me and they speaks to me, and if I need help, I get it. The other day, I went to a school over, and I said, I can drive. It's on the street next to me. And no, I'll take you. And this guy came and picked me up, and he took me over. And he said, I just wanted to take you, you know. And I said, okay. But, it's that kind of thing that's kind of special that, I wish everybody was treated that way.
But not everybody works as hard as you do either.
And not everybody's me either.
That's right. Well, that's what I was going to say. So you were born and you were black, you were female, and your name was Isaac. I mean, do you think those things sort of
it was a challenge. Yeah, it was a real challenge. And I married a man that had no objections to my doing what I wanted to do. He supported me in everything. And the girlfriend of mine I came to see, she supported me. If I was president, she's secretary. And she was one of the people that organized my church, Second Baptist Church. She and her mother and her son and a couple of other people organized, and we worked together in the church so much, and they always supported me. And Brennan let me do things even if I was a woman. He said, "It's okay, do it." He never objected to it.
Kind of like your dad, huh?
Yeah. Except my dad, I lost him so early.
If you had to tell people who are younger than you, who are coming up, what they should do. It's like you're leaving them a list behind saying, this is what I would like for you to do when I can't do it. What do you want people to do?
Well, different people will want different things. They'll have, plan for what they want to do that won't be the same at all. You see, somebody will want to work in NACP, somebody will want SCAR, and somebody will want... And other people will work in the church, and they won't work in these places. So I tell them to do what they feel comfortable doing, and just stick to it. Because there's this work to be done in all the places, And we have people who come to church who sometimes get in trouble, and they say, you got to go to church, and they'll come to church. And the pastor's a good counselor.
So it's not just one thing, right?
No, not one thing.
Right.
Because I didn't do one thing.
No, you didn't.
No, I did. So I was kind of busy. But my husband let me do what I wanted to do, and the fact that I was a woman, he didn't care. He said, it's okay.
Do you have anything else you still are working on that you want to see through?
Well, I'm working on that little church, the little historical church, and and I feel so strongly about it because I met some of the people whose relatives built that church.
Could you tell a little bit about that church for people who don't know about it?
Well,
Describe it.
I hate to get into it. Let me give you a history of it someday, and you'll see. That was a black area, and they built that church there. They were not given jobs in this town. They had to work in the orchards and in the farms outside of town. Nobody would hire them here. They had people that were masons. They could build cement buildings and stuff. And sometimes they'd give them a job for just that thing, and stuff. And the women, according to Judge Edens, would have dinners so the church could run, buy songbooks and pay the preacher and stuff. And that's how they had to do it. They really treated them like they were outsiders.
But it was the first black church in Reading.
Yes. And it is the oldest church in Reading.
Right.
Now, and it's somebody told me the other day it's the oldest AME church in the state of California. And then somebody else told me that it's the oldest AME church west of the Mississippi.
So it's a very important
Yeah,
building, isn't it?
yeah, and it has its own spirit. You walk in and you feel it. It's like you're in the presence of something, and the desks the seats were made by the men. The fingerprints are still on it and everything. They still have the little outhouse out there.
Right.
And we insist that it be moved with the church.
Now, what do you want when you say your project is that church? What do you want to have?
I want it
happen?
to remain as a church. I don't want it to be a historical building where they can rent it for beer games and parlors and whisk and stuff. I would like for it to remain as a church out of respect to the people who built. They had such a hard time. It was hard for them to do that.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And you want it to stay there?
Yes.
And that's on Trinity and California
California,
Street.
California,
Right.
Trinity.
Is there anything else that you wanted to say about going to the inauguration or President Obama or anything?
No, that's about it. I felt the other day sort of surprised when somebody asked me where I lived, and I said Reading. I said Reading is my town now. This is my hometown, and I really feel that way. They've been good to me. We've fought and we've accomplished a lot of stuff, and they have appreciated me. And this one fella came up and he said, "I saw your picture in the city hall. It's on the wall down there." And I said, "Yes." He said, "Man, that's something." And so the city has, as much as they could, they've supported me and they've helped me. It took a while to get them, but they did it. I'm proud of that.
You're pretty stubborn, though, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. But I wasn't asking for anything that couldn't have happened. It did happen. So, I wasn't completely out in left field.
All right. Thank you very much.
Mhm.